All right. We've got 20 people here. Everybody sit comfortably on your chair or on the ground, wherever you like. We're going to do a few minutes of meditation. And after you guys do this kind of meditation, I'm going to show you one other kind so you can do it at your leisure. It's a more difficult one, but this one is very easy. Remember how we talked about it. You just focus on what you do all day long. What is that? Breathing. So all you do, you become one with your breath. You breathe through your nose and you imagine the flow. You feel the flow of that air entering your nostril, coming in. You see it, you feel it, you feel the flow of the air coming in, you imagine it, you notice all the molecules coming in and then go wherever they're supposed to go, and then by that time you're ready to exhale. And then you stay with that again, you see it, feel it, accompany it out of your nostril, whether it's out of your mouth or nostril. When you exhale, doesn't matter. So you just breathe normally as you do, but now you do it with this thought process of seeing it, feeling the flow, focusing on the flow, imagining the flow when they're coming in and when you're exhaling. So stay with it. Stay with it. Do not leave your breath alone, and you're going to do it together. So ready? 1, 2, 3, breathe in. Don't be fooled by the physical mechanism. Focus on the breathing in and what you're imagining, what you're feeling it's coming in, what you're focusing on the flow of the air, and then the same thing, focus on the flow of the air. Imagine the molecules, imagine the air coming out when you exhale it. Stay with that. The mechanics of it will take place automatically, but you stay with that. So the body is doing its job, breathing, and the mind is with understanding, mindfulness of what's happening in that breathing. You're staying with the oxygen, you're staying with the airflow, you're imagining it going in and coming out. Therefore, you are one with that action. So let's try again. Breathe in, out. Breathe in, out. Now focus on what you're breathing in, what happens when you're breathing in, and focus on what happens when you're breathing out. So do it normally as you always do, but have that thought process there. Stay with the breath. See the breath, feel the breath, follow the breath in and out. Your thought and breath are one. Your mind and breath are one. And your mind and body are coordinated right now. The thought process and the physical movement of the air, the mechanical function is one. So body and mind are doing the same thing, are focused on the same thing, engaged in the same thing. That's what you want. See what the breathing is doing. See what the oxygen is doing. See the movement of air in and out. Be aware of what is happening. Sense the feeling, the effects of the air flowing in and out in relation to your nose, lips, however it is, whatever is touching and flowing inwardly and outwardly. Keep focus. Stay with the airflow. See the airflow. Feel the airflow. Now you're just one with your breathing. Your mind and breathing is the same. You're following the same movement. You see the air coming in and out. In and out. In and out. Even that little bit should have made a bit of a difference in you realizing, as if you just took a break. Your mind was not busy, just doing one thing. Now, this is a prelude to another meditation that I will be hopefully doing with you a little later on. And that has a different story, which I hope to be able to do it right here. Look. If you guys noticed and watched my video of a seminar I did at the local university, where the student was trying to lift me up and did it 2 different times and we had 2 different results. If you watch that, and the shorter version, the 4-minute one or the 59-second one, which is only showing that, the way it was done is by understanding that the universe is a sphere with endless radius. I mean, that scientifically is proven. Sphere with endless radius. Which means from you, let's say me, what you think about yourself, from me to this side direction is just as long to the end of the universe as it is from me to this side, this end of the universe. So from me to all directions, to the ends of the universe, is infinite, which makes it me being center of the universe, which means if I'm center of the universe, which means from me to all directions is infinite, then if I take a step to the left, the radius to the right won't become longer and the one to the left becomes shorter because it's always infinite. So that means if I take a step forward, again, from me to all corners of the universe is infinite. So I can move anywhere I go and I'm still center of the universe. And when I say center of universe means everybody is center of universe. You're center of universe. That thing is center of universe. I am center of universe. Because in relation to me to the end of the universe, it's always infinite. So which means I can move and still think I'm center of universe. Have that connection. And then you go on and further understand or imagine that there are energy flows, energy lines traveling from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe. So it's an infinite flow of universe at work. And that's from this corner to the other corner, from that corner to the other corner, from back to front, from left to right, from right to left, from all in between and up and down and all in between. Energy lines from all corners of the universe are in transit to all other corners of the universe on their opposite side. And back and forth, the same way. So we're swimming in the flow of energy from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe in all directions. Left and right, front and back, and all in between, and up and down, and all in between. So it's like there is ray of energy coming to us from all corners. And they all have to, if we are center of the universe, which we just talked about it, so all these energy lines all meet at one point, and that one point is about 10, 15 centimeter lower the abdomen. That's a center of gravity of a mass of the human being anyhow. That's the place that is got the balance. In judo, that's what is mostly focused on. So we imagine there's a hypothetical point about 10, 15, 20 centimeter lower the navel, and inside a hypothetical point, a small point, where all these energy lines that are untraveled from one corner of the universe to the other end of the universe, they all meet at that one point, at that small hypothetical point, about 15, 20 centimeter lower the abdomen. And it's a very, very small point because energy lines are all meeting there, but they're so finely going through that small point. And you don't do anything. You're not creating anything. It's already being done. You just observe it. You just take notice of that happening at that small point, hypothetical point about 20 centimeters below the navel. You just see it, all these energy lines flowing through from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe on their way. They have all joined at one point, and they're passing through that one point at your small point in the lower abdomen. So just focus on that. Just see it happening. You're not creating anything. You're not doing anything. You're just observing what is being done in relation to you, what's happening all the time, and receiving that energy, which is happening all the time. So if you, wherever you are, even if you're waiting for an appointment, you're sitting in the waiting room of, I don't know, reception somewhere, you just close your eyes, and if it's going to be weird, just close half eye, close half eye, half close, close, your eyes half closed, so you can see what's going on. But when it's not necessary, just close your eyes and focus on that flow that is happening automatically without your effort, your doing anything. Just watch it done. It's like wind blowing. You just watch the wind. You don't do anything. That thing is the same. The energy lines passing through on their way to the other end of the universe, they just all join together and pass through in this very one point. That one point that all energy lines are passing through. And this very one point is very small, and it's located at that hypothetical point. So you just focus on the flow in that point, just the flow. Not going with it through the hole or through the point or through anything, just on that point as they keep, because it's fresh. It's not one entry. It's constantly, this energy flow is flowing. So you're just looking at the flow. It's like looking at the river, at one point of the river on a rock, on one point that this water is passing through. If you just focus on that one point, on that rock in the river, every second there's a fresh part of the water is passing, a new fresh water passing on that point. It's not the same water. That water passed, but you're just focusing on the point that is passing. And the water is abundance, constantly passing through. So every moment that you're watching that point on that rock in the river, there's new fresh water is passed. So it's always a fresh water that you're focused on. So here, you focus on that point that we just talked about, and you notice the flow of ki, flow of energy. And every second it's a new fresh flow, because the flow is continuous. It's not the same flow. It's not static. It just keeps going, keeps flowing. So you're looking at the flow, but looking at that one point, the point, that very one point where the flow is taking place. Not further, not going with the flow, just staying, watching the flow happening. And it's always fresh. You're looking at something that is constantly continuous, moving. It's not looking at a pond, it's looking at a waterfall. It's constantly new, fresh, and moving. So you focus on that flow at the one point, at that one point, at that hypothetical point. and see it so beautifully, all these energy lines pouring through it, passing through it. But you only focus on where they're entering, at the entry point to that one point. So you stay with it and enjoy that relaxation and the flow, a continuous flow, infinitely continuous flow of fresh energy constantly happening there. And you're just observing that what is happening. And that is what is happening. And when you've been focusing on that, observing that long enough and relaxing with it, then you just pick up the other ends, like the flow that came from this end, obviously is, let's say you're here and this is your one point. So the flow that came from this end is obviously exiting, let's say, continuous travel to that end. The flow came from that end and passing through that point and moving that way. So now that you've been observing them coming in, now you observe them expanding outwardly. That they've gone through the point, you pick up the other end of them, and you just travel with them to the ends of the universe. Infinitely they travel to the ends and expanding universe. They keep going and going. You can see them from all directions. They're expanding, having branched out of that one point that we talked about, that you were focusing on observing it flowing in. Now you're observing it flowing out, because they've come from one end of the universe and you're picking up, focusing on the other end of them. As they entered, now you focus on their exiting action, exiting flow. So they're expanding with you to the ends of, you accompany them to the ends of the universe, which is infinite. They keep going, they keep going, they keep going, and your mind goes with them and travels all through the universe in all directions. You imagine them going, expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. You become one with the universe, you and universe traveling together, one power with the whole thing, the universe. You and universe become one and traveling together, feeling the expansion of universe together. And when you think you have gone far enough in your mind and you've imagined how far this universe has expanded with you along with it, and now again you come back with the other end of the energy that is coming towards you again. You come together, from all direction, and you can see them all going through the one point. And stay there at the one point. Focus on the flow at the one point. Focus at the flow at the one point. And enjoy, let it happen. It happens by itself. You're doing nothing. You're just observing. You're just observing. Just see the happening. The happening is happening automatically. No efforts on you. You're just watching it done. And at the one point. At the one point. You and universe become one. In turn becomes 1 point lower the abdomen. And continues, the flow continues there. Keeps going through the hypothetical point. And you're focusing on the entrance of all these energy lines at the one point. And just stay there. Small point where they have all joined and flowing continuously, fresh ki all the time. Flowing through. No efforts. No efforts. Just one with the energy flow of the universe. You and universe feel one. There is no you, there is no universe, just flow. You're just the flow. And the flow is continuous. There's nothing but the flow. And you enjoy that. At that point, just relax, stay there, and then whenever you feel like it, you can open your eyes. Slowly open your eyes, slowly. If you don't feel like it, stay there for a little longer. I know it's new to you, but if you do that a few minutes every day, mind is agitated right now. But once you do this continuously, you will be teaching the mind to be organized and disciplined. Like a horse that has got his own mind and running around, now you are actually directing the horse and moving together, and the horse is now listening to you and focusing in the direction that you want it to focus. So you train your mind, and your mind settles down. I don't know if any of you right now did what I asked, and if you did, you got into it all right. If you didn't, that's all right. It's lots of static in the mind, lots of it's not trained, it's unfocused, but eventually you do that a few times, you learn to have it automatically focus to your command and becomes very relaxed. The agitation will subside, the tranquility and relaxation in the mind comes. You will feel one with the universe. There is no you, there is no universe, there's just a flow. And it's a very nice break and relaxation in the activities of mind, which it calms it down. And when you open your eyes, it feels amazingly comforting, confident, and nothing is bothering you. You feel wonderful. And you keep doing that, you become more powerful. And then we'll continue doing that together. Let's see if any of you did actually followed, or you fell asleep. How many of you did actually follow and enjoy it? All right. Let me see if I get any feedback. Obviously, when I closed my eyes, there were 20, and now we have 13. That means 7 people didn't enjoy it, which is okay. But that's what you get if you want to get mentally strong. So, can I get some feedback to see if this is what you guys been asking for? And here we are. I'm doing it. You all wanted it done, so it's done. Let's see what you guys feel. If you enjoyed it, did it, understood it. Skin says, I certainly did enjoy the session. Thank you. And this sequence of concentration meditation, when you're focusing on the flow of the energy at the one point, and expansion meditation, which is when you pick up the other end of the energy lines. When they go through the one point, they continue. So you pick up, you focus on the other end, like they've gone through and they're branching out. From all corners of the universe, they've gone through, they've arrived together, joined together. Now they're branching out. So obviously, the one that came from this direction is going that. So you pick that up, and the one that's coming from that direction is going this, continuing this direction. You pick that. So it's like a flower going out now. So you do that a few times of each, like you up, and then you come back to one point, concentration, and after a while there, enjoying that flow there, and then you pick up expansion again, and you stay as long as you want there, and then you switch back and come back to concentration meditation. So you do that as many times as you want. So it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever you like. You just keep doing it. It's just the brain isn't idle. There's no pressure on the mind. You're not doing it. You're just observing what's happening already. You're not creating that. You're just seeing the facts in that sense. And we have Chris says, yes, I really enjoyed it. Just focused on breathing, nothing else. Ed Clark says, I joined halfway through. It takes a while for you guys to get it. Luna says, then observed you during the second half to gain a better idea for the posture and mindful exhale. Now, the concentration meditation did not have focus on the breathing. The breathing exercise was the first short ones, normal breathing and focusing on the breath. The concentration meditation was just mental practice. The longer version of the breathing exercise, it will look like this, which has the same rhythm and thought process of what we just did, the concentration and expansion. Now that we're going to be breathing in, it will have the concentration thought process. And when you're exhaling, it has the expansion thought process. So this, what I just taught you, concentration, expansion, is a meditation, strong meditation on its own. That's what you want to do to get your mind focused and strengthened and powerful. When you do a breathing exercise, the real breathing exercise, other than the short one that I taught you, then you will do it as I'm going to show you, but then you will have the thought process of concentration meditation and expansion meditation while you're doing the inhaling and exhaling. See, inhaling is concentration, a thought process. Exhaling is expansion, the thought process, as we just did. So it will look like this. These are all sitting seiza, sitting on your knees, seiza, or sitting zazen, cross-legged. So you're either sitting on your knees. For the breathing exercise, I prefer sitting on your knees. For concentration meditation only and not a long breathing, just you can sit cross-legged. But right now I'm sitting on a chair, so we pretend I'm sitting on my knees. Because if you are trying to do a long breathing, it'll be not as effective if you're cross-legged. You should be sitting on your knees and back straight. So this is how it looks. You close your eyes. But look at me right now. Just look at me to see how it's done. You bend a little forward, that gets more air out. When your back is straight and sitting on your knees, seiza, then when you finish exhaling, there's nothing more, and you bend a little bit forward from the one point, from the point that we talked about. Just bend a little bit forward, just a little bit, gets the rest of the air out. Then you stay there, and then when you feel like it, you start breathing back in through your nose. And when you finish breathing, you're filled up, you move back a little bit. That brings more air in the lungs. The idea is to fill the lungs as much oxygen as you can, because we need lots of oxygen. And it also exercises the lungs and expands the lungs to have more capacity. So we hit two aims in one shot. So we are now forward, having exhaled. We're now inhaling. And watch for me. When I finish inhaling, you will see I'll go back a little bit. So you do this many times, this cycle. And you can do it just the breathing, focus on the breathing, or you can do it with the thought process of when you breathe in, energy, breath comes in to the one point, and when you exhale, then it's like you're exhaling with the thought process of expanding energy outwardly to the ends of the universe. You can either do it with that thought process, or you can do it just focusing on completing the cycle of full breathing and then exhaling. So one more time, just one cycle. You breathe in with the thought process now. So you breathe in, thinking the universal energy also concentrating and coming towards you and passing through the one point while you're breathing in. And when you exhale, you also have the thought process of these energy lines expanding outwardly towards the end of the universe while you exhale. So you have that thought process. You can do it with the thought process or just the breathing itself, which we just noticed and we just did. That is an amazing meditation because it has the breathing component and the concentration meditation both at the same time. Whether you do it included both of them together or just the breathing, it will be a tremendous meditation because it gives that extra energy at the same time gives you that it gives you extra oxygen at the same time it gives you that flow of energy kind of prompt up in there. It's a very powerful, but you do it often and start maybe a few minutes and then longer and longer. Increases the capacity of your lungs, which is great. We want that strengthened. We hardly exercise the lungs. And then also at the same time gives you a lot more oxygen, which all the capillaries, all the blood, we all need the oxygen. And that goes and exchanges the impurities with all, gives all the oxygen, gets all this stuff, and you know how it works. You get the impurities out of your body through that whole exchange of oxygen and the CO2 and all the other stuff. So you can have a lot more of it in one breath done when you're doing the meditation or breathing exercise. So that's why it cleanses the system, it strengthens the system, strengthens the lung, and gives you the energy of connection with the universe, with the nature, which gives you that confidence and the backing that we all want to be connected. As the drops of the ocean we want to be connected to the ocean. So this is the way to connect yourself to the universe, to the nature. So you feel abundantly strong, and you feel confident, and you feel good, balanced. And of course, it creates, as you know, GABA. The neurotransmitters is needed for anti-anxiety and depression, and the brain deals better with the intrusive thoughts. GABA, neurotransmitters, scientists have found out that's what's missing when intrusive thoughts are not handled as good as it should. And then, of course, oxytocin, well, that's one of the neurotransmitters. When you feel good, that also is created. But most importantly, oxytocin mostly when you are among friends and have that exchange. But the serotonin and melatonin and GABA are the very important super neurotransmitters that are created by way of meditation. But if you're meditating with a bunch of people together, you also have the oxytocin created, because that whole gathering and feeling good and secure and exchange of friendship and emotions of being among friends and feel safe, that also can be a good byproduct. So, now, having done that, let's go to, so make sure you continue that every day as a regimen of life. Just as you like to breathe, you need to eat, you need to sleep. Meditation, breathing exercise is an excellent way to bring that health, strength, confidence, and balance to you. That's why you meditate, plus all the other stuff that we talked about, neurotransmitters and so on and so forth. Balance. Please do it every day. Luna says, I really think this will help to strengthen my wandering mind. Absolutely. And anxiety levels. Absolutely. We'll try for 5 minutes each day as a start. Good idea. Now you have the instructions here. You just sit on your knees, and it's going to be hurtful because if you're not used to sitting on your knees. But if not, then you may want to sit on a chair, straight, back straight, and put your hands on your thighs, or you can just connect them together like that. Just hang them, let them hang, or just let them drop. Bring it up and let them drop. Wherever it drops, that's where it stays, on your thighs. For breathing exercise. For concentration meditation, you can do the same, or you can have the hands connected gently and then drop them. Shoulders straight, and you do that by sitting on your knees. If not, for concentration meditation, you can sit cross-legged. For breathing exercise, preferred is to sit on your knees.